Hello everybody, how's it going? It's your weekly review of Raw and Smackdown week commencing the 10th of October. Starts with HBK and Shawn Michaels, Triple H and X-Pac in the back, basically being DX because it's 25 years of D-Generation X, and they're basically just swearing antics, being controversial, which was quite funny in the back. So that was quite funny. Then we start off with the bloodline coming out. The whole bloodline was there. And it's also 771 days that Roman Reigns has had the championship for. So it starts basically, obviously it's in Brooklyn, so he wants Brooklyn to acknowledge him. And then Roman calls out the loudest person in the group, which is Jay. And then as he's about to go at Jay, Sami Zayn intervenes and goes, "Hey, Jay's my issue. I will sort it out." But before that happened, Riddle comes out, and then it all transpires that Riddle will face Sami Zayn in the main event after a back and forth. Then we had Theory versus Johnny Gargano, really good match, but in the end, Theory lost. Johnny won. When is the last time Theory has actually won a match? That's a question for you lot. Now Vince has gone, he hardly gets TV time and hardly wins a match, so God knows. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Gable. In the middle of the match, Dominic and Rhea came out, but Rey still won the match, but after the match he got beat down. Then basically Judgment Day was saying how they run Raw, their own Raw. Then AJ Styles came out and it looked like he was joining the Judgment Day, but instead the OC came back. Gallows, Anderson came running down and they cleared house, so the OC are back. It's good to see Triple H is bringing back loads of good wrestlers. More power to Triple H. Then Damage Control basically talking backstage about the loss and how they're going to come back. Really. Then we had Bayley versus Candice in a really good match. In the end, Candice won, but then Candice got beat down by the Damage Control, and Bianca came out for the save but got beat down as well. They're beating down everybody. Then then it was the Miz's birthday. Miz's wife was throwing a birthday bash for him with loads of gifts. And obviously Dexter turned up and ruined that whole thing, and he ate cake. Then DX prep talks some guys to face Omos in their match, and then Miz said he wants to speak to Triple H because of what's been happening with Dexter, the Dexter situation. Then it was Omos versus some guys in a squash match. Obviously Omos won. Then they showed Bray Wyatt's return, the whole epic return, about him coming back, and basically what happened. It was epic. Then we had Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins. Before the match, Bobby was basically saying how he's beating everybody. He's beating Roman Reigns, he's beating Drew, he's beating Brock Lesnar, and as he said, Brock comes out basically and beats down Bobby Lashley and gives him an F5 twice and breaks his arm basically. But obviously Bobby was meant to have a United States Championship match, but Seth came out for the match, and then Bobby was like, "Nah, I'm injured." But Seth basically calls out Bobby saying, "No, you're not injured, you're gonna fight me." And he just goaded him into it, talking about him being a champion, being a soldier. And in the end, he faced Seth and lost the title. So Seth Rollins is your new United States champion. Then in the back, Bobby is saying he's angry and he wants Brock next week on Raw. And apparently Brock's going to be there, so let's see what happens. Then in the main event, we had Riddle versus Sami Zayn. A really good match. Go and watch it if you haven't seen it. Jay was being given specific orders by the Tribal Chief to make sure Sami wins the match, but he didn't help Sami, and Sami actually lost the match. So it seemed like Jay liked it. So, and in the end, DX comes out with all their catchphrases, everything, crotch chops, explosions, etc., which was quite funny. And Corey Graves also said one of the members of the DX crew is not there and he's messing around with office appliances. Scissor me daddy. There you go. So that was Raw. It was pretty good. You should watch it if you haven't seen it already. So you go on to Smackdown. Smackdown starts with a car crash. Basically Karen Cross, someone crashes into him. Preferably it was Drew, and then Drew proceeds to beat down Karen Cross, so he's probably in the hospital somewhere right now. Then we had Kofi versus Sami Zayn in a really good match with Jay accompanying him. It was meant to be solo, but he brings out Jay instead, and Jay actually helped Sami win the match, so that was pretty good. So, well, good or bad, I'm not sure. Then we had Ray basically saying Triple H is going to quit, and Triple H said, "No, you're not going to quit, let's go and talk." So let's see what happens there. Then we had Braun Strowman versus some guys Obviously, Braun squashed them, but in the midst of squashing the guys, Omos pulls up and just looks at Braun. So obviously, that's a match that's going to happen. Then we had Sami Zayn prep talking Solo in the back for his four-way match for the IC #1 contendership. Then we had LA Knight versus Swa in a match. LA Knight used to be part of the MMM, but he's not part of the MMM no more. He's gone on his own as LA Knight, and LA Knight won in a pretty good match. Then Damage Control versus Shotzi, Perez and Rodriguez in a really good match, but Damage Control actually won. Then we had Hit Row versus Fasama. I think that's how you pronounce it. With Selena Vega was there, and Hit Row lost the match. Fasama won. Hit Row's been on a bit of a losing streak recently. Not sure what's happening there, but okay. Then Sonya was in the back. She was having an interview. Then she started brawling with Liv Morgan. So let's see what happens there. That's obviously going to be a match. Then we had the four-way match: Solo, Sheamus, Ricochet, and Rey Mysterio for the #1 contender versus Gunter for the IC Championship. Really good match. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. But Rey Mysterio actually wins the match. But in the main event, it wasn't a main event. Bray Wyatt made his return to SmackDown and he's basically talking. It seems to be real Bray Wyatt. He's talking about the demons he faced, how he lost his confidence, he went into a depression, and how the fans got him back. So it seemed to be like a real sort of Bray Wyatt was talking, but then after that it sort of cut to Bray Wyatt. So see what happens. But yeah, go and watch if you haven't seen it. That's your review of Raw and SmackDown week commencing October 10th. Take care and like, subscribe and leave a comment.